Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the KONTAINEROZ podcast. The podcast is sponsored by PortPro, the leading operating system for drayage carriers. Schedule a demo today at portpro.io. Episode 43, we got Rosio Villagrana in the house.
Woo woo! Everybody, give it up for Rosio. But if you're cool, you could call me Rosie.
Rosie.
Yes.
Okay. Am I cool? Can I say
Yeah,
okay.
you can call
Rosie.
me Rosie.
Tell us a little about yourself, Rosie. What are you doing these days?
Rosie is a rookie truck driver. She's a Mexican girl born and raised in South Central LA. Fairly new to this trucking industry, but I like it.
How new are you? Like under a year?
Under a year, yes. 6 months to be
6 months?
Yes.
And you haven't flipped over yet? So far, so good?
What do you mean yet?
Well, hopefully never.
Never.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I'm cautious. I understand the big responsibility of driving that big old monster, so slow and steady wins the race.
Was it hard for you to get in?
What do you mean? Like in the industry, like get a job or?
Yeah, because I heard it's hard when you're fresh out of, you went to a school, right?
Yes, I went to LA Trucking College in LA, and I got my license in July of last year, July 2021, and I got hired October 6th of 2021. But I didn't start looking for a job until maybe a week before October because I was working at my previous job, pawn shop, and I wanted to take a break from that. I'm like, I want a month off and let's wait,
So you had your license and you still kept your pawn shop job?
Yes, for another month. All of August, and then September I was off, and then I got hired in October.
How do pawn shops work? Any interesting stories about that?
Everyone always asks that, but my pawn shop was pretty much, well, call it my pawn shop because I was there for 10, almost 11 years, but it was regular customers. So we saw like the same people over and over again. They mostly pawn their jewelry, so.
Their jewelry?
Yeah. Their jewelry.
Mostly?
Yeah, mostly. We asked for ID, so it's like, it's yours? Yes. Okay, let's do this. Someone reports it stolen. The police has a record of everything we take in, so that's their problem. But
so there's like no liability then. You just
you ask. Is this your?
By asking, that makes it like legal binding.
Yes.
They train you to do it like that.
Yes. I mean, what are we gonna do? Investigate?
No. They gotta sign something.
Yeah.
Admitting to that it's theirs.
Yeah, because if obviously we're loaning, they have to have a contract. It's a 5-month loan. They have 5 months to pick it up, or if they just want to sell, then they sell. And it used to be like a 30-day hold, but then it turned into a 7-day hold, which is kind of messed up because it's like if someone reports it stolen, like you really have to, notice within 7 days, because then you're screwed. Like your jewelry's gonna get melted in 7 days.
Wait a minute. So in 7 days, even if it's reported stolen, after that you have like a lien on it, or what happens? Like it becomes your property after 7 days?
Yes, if they sell it. So say, for instance, you come into the pawn shop and you're like, hey, I want to sell this bracelet.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go, $500. So we hold it for 7 days. So we can't do anything with it for 7 days. And then there's no report, no one reported it stolen. Then we could either keep it to sell it in inventory or melt it. That's the only two options for a gold bracelet.
Then I'm an angry victim. I go in there, hey, this guy's done this before. He took my bracelet. I need it back now. On the 8th day.
On the 8th day. Well, thankfully, at our pawn shop, if we had it still there for like selling, we would sell it back to the customer, or if they didn't want to pay, they would have to go to court. And obviously, if they had a suspect, then they go from there.
At this point, if you bought it for $20, You don't want $20 from the customer, huh? Now you want whatever you're selling it for?
No, well, not us at least.
But that could be a possibility, right?
That could be a possibility, yeah. But, you know, if we gave the person $20, we just want our $20 back. You have your jewelry and let's call it a day. And it didn't happen so often. So, you know, why not do a good deed?
What do you think is do they go, like, the business model for, like, a pawn shop? You think, let's use another bracelet example. Like, if nothing but bracelets came in, like, would you have, like, a margin? Like, okay, you never give them more than the actual value. What's the percentage, the maximum you can give on something based on the value?
So we do have a margin, obviously, because it is a business. You know, some people have bad reps about pawn shops. They're like, oh, you guys just rip people off, you know. Electronics, for example. You come upon your PS5, right? And we give you a third of the used value because it's not new anymore. It's used, obviously, right? So a used PS5 and a new PS5 have two different values. You come in, you want a loan, we're going to give you a third of it. So then you have 5 months. That's what your contract says. But we also give you the option to come in and pay your interest and give you another 5 months in case you need it. If you can't pick it up, 5 months. Pay your interest, another 5 months. And you can keep doing that. As long as you pay your interest, you're not going to lose your item. So electronics, they depreciate. They're not going to go up in value for as much as you want. Oh, I paid $1,000. Yeah, I wouldn't. Sorry, you know. So for gold, we also have a margin. We go based on whatever the gold value is that day, and we go a fraction of it. Say, for instance, melting price for 14 karat is $27 a gram. We're going to loan you on that bracelet about $15, $16 because we don't know what gold's going to be like in 5 months from now. So it's not ripping people off. It's helping people. You turn your gold or your valuable into cash that you didn't have.
And they bet on themselves. So if they don't pay it, then at that point you're so low key. You're hoping they don't pay it.
Well, honestly, pawn shops they get their money from interest. So it's not like we really want your stuff. Like, we want you to come get your stuff, but if you can't, then pay the interest to give you more time.
Did you ever get a nasty product that you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you think I can give you money for this?
All the time. You already knew it's going to be garbage when they walk up to the window and they say, I was cleaning out my garage. No, we don't want it.
Best I can do is no.
Yes. Or it's like, well, what are you guys? I thought you guys were a pawn shop. Yes, we're a pawn shop, but we're not going to take trash. Like, that's not how it rolls, you know? That's not how it goes. But yeah.
Any item you remember?
Specifically, no. I've had someone say, how much can you give me for my gold tooth? And then open their mouth. And I'm like, it has to be out of your mouth. You know, do you want me to throw acid on there? Or?
They were probably serious too, huh?
Yeah.
Want you to pull it out or something?
Yeah.
How much would you give them if they took it out?
Well, it depends on what gram.
Have you got anything that's already been taken out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of disgusting, but I mean, we wear gloves and sanitize or whatever, but we test it. We have to test it. We got to know what weight it is and the gram. If it's 10, 14, 18.
What is the most common way to test for fake gold?
A magnet.
A magnet.
A magnet. Gold doesn't attract to magnets, so just put the magnet, and if it picks it up, it's fashion jewelry.
They got me for that at the show many years ago. I was starting to make that owner-op money, so I thought I was, over here, Mr. Baller.
Okay.
And this guy, he played it off well. He went up to my pump, and he's like, man, I need, I got this. My bitch-ass father-in-law. So he came with a good story, man.
Yeah.
Like, kind of made it seem like they were doing him dirty where he was at, and he's, playing, kind of justifying why he did it. Like, this is why I deserve to make money off of this.
Right.
And then I was in the wrong, too, for fucking buying it. But that's what greed does to you, because I was like, the value of this is like $1,000 at the time, the Centenarios. And I'm like, he wants 200. I'm like, so my greed, thinking of the 800 profit, I got it, right? But that's how he got me. That shit was fake as fuck.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you say that because that still goes on. You said it happened to you a while ago. This still happens. Like, I was just at the pawn shop last year, so people come and it's sad because it's like they come and they're like, oh, I want you to test. And it's like the same jewelry all the time. So it's like this ring that says 18 karat on the inside, but it's not gold. And it's this like Cuban link chain that says 14 karat on it. And it's like, we don't even have to test it anymore. We're like, that's fake. They're like, no, what do you mean? Like, where did you get it? Oh, this man at the gas station, he just said that he needed to go back to Florida.
Some kind of story.
Some story. I had to go back to Florida.
I've seen that one. There's another one. There was this guy. I don't want to, I guess putting a race on it doesn't really matter. Just the scenario. But it's always those same type of people. And I'm like, I wonder if they got a clique out here doing this
it's a business.
Like a thing, So this guy is like on the on-ramp of the freeway, and he's on the outside of his car chilling, like stopping people, right? And he knows how to do it too, because right there is where you get the light, green light, when you're about to merge into the freeway, the traffic flow.
Yeah.
So he knows how to get you there, and that's where he breaks down coincidentally. And he says he ran out of gas. I'm like, how fucking interesting where you ran out of gas, sir. And then he's like, but, he pulls out a chain. This can get me some gas money. What can you give me? I need to get home. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, just wait right there. I'm gonna, and just like calling someone. They leave. Fuck with them, There's a lot of scams out there. Something unrelatable, but just since we're on the topic of scams or whatever, I was in San Luis Obispo a couple years ago visiting, and I was waiting for someone to come back out of the store, and there was this guy with a sign, like asking for money. So he was there the whole time. Every now and then they give him a couple bucks, and then I was there like maybe 45 minutes, and so then I see him fold up his sign, like if he was putting away his work equipment, his sign, nice and folded. Starts walking. He gets into a brand new Corolla. I'm like, what the fuck? His shift was over or something.
Yeah, there's been like stories about that, like on the internet or on the news. Is like they pretend to be handicapped, and it's like at the end of the day they get up from their wheelchair and they start pushing their wheelchair and they get in their van that's 2 blocks down or their cars, and it's like, yo, like that sucks. Like that really sucks.
Yeah. Or the ones that break down. The ones that run out of fuel right at the fuel pump.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. Like, I need some money for the gas too.
So growing up, how was that? How was childhood? Any memories?
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I had a pretty normal childhood. I grew up with a single mother, 1 sibling, but we also lived in a house with my aunt and her family. So it was like 8-10 people in a house. I was always the one wanted to play outside, be outdoors. They even up to this day they make fun of me. They're like, oh, but remember who never had homework? Like, it was always me. Like, did you do your homework, Rosio? And I'm like, I didn't have any homework today. Like, that's weird,
Your teacher's cool.
Yeah, my cousin, she was always indoors, and I would have to beg her to come outside. Like, we would even fight. Like, we would fist fight because she wouldn't come outside.
She's older?
A year older. Yeah, but I had a pretty. Although I was raised by a single mother, like, all I've learned was a chingarle. Like, that's all I know. My sister, she's 6 years older than me, so she was pretty much like a second parent as well. Growing up, whatever I wanted, she's like, you have the only child syndrome, and I'm just like, what do you mean? She's like, you do. But it is what it is.
The single mom part, you never got to get attached to your dad, like, or from the get-go, or you remember a certain age when you lost contact, or?
Yeah, well, single, they divorced probably when I was about 6 years old, I want to say. I still talk to my dad now. He remarried. But growing up, it was pretty much just mom, and She would go to work 5 in the morning, come back 5 in the afternoon. So it's like she would go to work and I was sleeping. She would come home and I was like ready almost for bed, you know. So it's like that was my life. But I can't complain. I mean, I feel like I've done well for myself.
How do you feel about that? Like looking back at it now,
like what do you mean?
Is there any resentment, or you said you talked to him, but you feel you already?
It's funny you say that because my sister's like, maybe you should talk to dad, and because sometimes he'll call and I'm like, oh, I don't want to answer, you know, and it's like he's only getting older, you know, but yeah, I guess there is always resentment. And
why is that? Like, did he communicate?
Yes, but
it's not the same.
Yeah, I guess you just feel like, why weren't you there for me? Like I needed you to be, you know, but you know, I guess mom did a great job. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw when you got your license, I think I'm not tripping though, you put a post where I think you said we did it or something, kind of like celebrating with her, like.
Oh, yes. So I actually, when I went ahead and decided I want to go for my Class A, I didn't tell anybody. Like, no one knew. I was like, because I was scared at the same time. I was like, what if I don't pass? Like, what if I'm, you know, at least no one's going to know, you know? So my mom knew, I want to say like 2 weeks before I went in for my test. And she was all nervous, and I was just like, that's exactly why I didn't tell you, you know, because it's like they get you more nervous. And she's like, when's your exam? So where are you? What time is it? And I was just like, it's one of these days. Like I never told her the exact day, so I didn't pass it on the first try. I passed it on the second try. And so when I did, I actually went to go buy flowers, and I went to her job, and I'm like, we did. And she's like, what? And she was
that's what
crying.
it was. Yeah.
She was all happy and everything, you know, a proud mom.
What? So you said she was a hard worker and all that, huh? So you learned that at a young age?
Yes. Until now, she's still working. Sometimes I'm like, you know, like you always have like that want or need to be like, take your parents from working, you know? Oh, here.
There you go. You go.
Okay. So.
Strike two.
Me?
Yeah.
Wow. Me getting into the trucking business is like with the goal, you know, to make money.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, make money. Like I'm in it to win it, and it is what it is. And, you know, it just saddens you sometimes, like, oh, man, like, I should have started this earlier. Like, it gets me. I'm like, it's always intrigued me or caught my attention to be a truck driver, but I never really went for it until last year, you know? So I'm like, I could have done this earlier. I could have been 2-3 years in, you know?
Shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, but, you know, God works in mysterious ways, and
you're here now. You can never go back, no matter how much you think about it. So
exactly. So just go forward and let it flow.
Yeah. Sometimes the late bloomers, or whatever you want to call it, do better than the ones that have been from the get-go. Because even the ones that from the get-go might have taken it for granted.
Yes,
so
yes.
The new ones come in with like that hunger, like, I got no time to waste.
Yeah. You know? I think that's my mentality right now. Like, man, and even now, like I said, I'm 6 months in, and I'm like, I need to be doing more. I need to be putting in longer hours, you know, like I still feel like I have that energy, but it's not until maybe a month or 2 months ago that I felt comfortable and I felt a little bit more confident in trucking, you know? So I think I'm about ready to put in some long hours.
Yeah.
So
any hardships in particular growing up that fuel your desire to go harder, or like, you know what I mean?
Quite honestly, no.
No?
I'm not rich, pero nunca me faltó nada, you know? Like, my mom has, like I said, she's always been a hustler. She's always worked all her life. So whatever we wanted, we had. And it wasn't like excessively, you know? She didn't spoil us that way, but no nos faltaba food on our table, you know. We always had a roof over our head, so I'm grateful for that. But growing up, I'm like, I have expensive taste, like you know, I need to
like what?
like clothes.
Like these bougie drinks. What is this?
Jamba Juice. That's a peach pleasure, and this is a razzmatazz. Yeah, stuff like that. Purses. I like to dress nicely sometimes, but
Yeah, treat yourself.
yeah, treat yourself. So I'm like, that lifestyle and a regular job is not gonna cut it, So here we are.
Cool. Well, you deserve it, especially
Thank
after what we all go through. Well, not me anymore, right? In the ports, but from experience, I know it's not handed to you that easily. You don't go in and go out, get that easy paycheck. It's not always that's not always the case,
The long hours, definitely. The waiting.
So you ended up in drayage, but what did you really want to be growing up? Do you remember?
Honestly, growing up, I wanted to be a teacher,
Okay.
And I did work maybe about 2-3 years freshly out of high school in that field. I had an after-school program, which was very rewarding. Like, you pretty much did what a teacher would do, but at a fraction of a pay. But even teachers, I feel like, man, they do so much. Like, that's another career that, taken for granted and not appreciated, because they do a whole lot,
Yeah, my kids, I believe, well, many teachers I think might do the same. A lot of their own money they use for supplies, like for the projects that the kids do and shit like that.
Yeah.
I remember a few projects she's put together, like Ziploc bags and little blocks, and just for them to work on something,
Yes.
So it's definitely something they have a passion for. You could tell right away.
Yes. Like I said, it's very rewarding, and it feels good. Like, especially if you have a kind heart. There's people who go into careers just for the money, or just for, I don't know, whatever it is, but they don't really love what they do, and they become shitty people at what they do, and it sucks, because whatever, especially in that area, like, you need to love what you do, because people are looking up to you, little people are looking up to you, so yeah. But I quit that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this, it's like, and I was jobless for like a month, and then I started applying, like, I need a job ASAP, like. And I took like 3 weeks off, and I was just like, I felt like a total bum. I was like, oh God, I'm a low life. I don't have a job, I was like 23, 24. And
how many years ago was that?
Quite a few.
Almost got her.
Almost, but no. So I was just like, you know what? I'll quit, and we'll see where life takes me. So after 3 weeks, I started Googling, like, jobs anywhere, anything, receptionist, anything. Finally, like, the pawn shop calls me, and I go for an interview, and I'm like, what is this place? So it was a pawn shop that had just opened up in Whittier, but they already had a branch in Torrance.
Yeah.
So I go for an interview, and he interviews me, whatever, and he, like, leaves, and I'm about to walk out. But he turns before me. He has like this gun behind him. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I didn't know anything about pawn shops before working at one, I didn't even know they were a thing. So I left, and it was late that evening. So the next day he calls me. He's like, hey, how soon can you start? And I'm like now, like, whenever you need me. Okay, come tomorrow at 9 a.m. but at the Torrance location, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so we went from there, and I was there for 10 years, almost 11 years, up until last year. So
what was the last straw when you said that you weren't feeling it with the teaching and all that?
With the teaching, I was just
You said, maybe this is like, what made that come to mind? I don't know. Then you did pawn shop 10 years. Like, what was the difference? Like, why was one more rewarding, or what?
It really wasn't. I wanted to quit the pawn shop like the first week also that I was there. And look at me now. I mean, I did 10 years. Sounds like prison. Huh?
Right.
It kind of was. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't think anything triggered it. It was just like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life, you know? Not the after school program, but like pursuing that.
Because you saw that like a long-term career if you did stay there. And the pawn shop, you saw like a job.
Yes.
But it crept up on you and yet still kept you for 10 years.
Exactly. It
but
crept up on me.
But now you're in drayage, like I keep saying. And who do you do this for at the moment? Like who inspires you to, pushes you to do better?
Honestly, myself.
Yourself?
My mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, she's worked all her life. So it's like you raised a hardworking woman too, you know. So it's like, but the money.
Is it all from looking at her, watching her work hard, or she incorporated it into your upbringing? Like she had you do chores or what?
No, not really.
Just watching them?
Just watching her. But like, man, if she could and she still can, like, why can't I?
You would think that would have the opposite effect and feel like, like spoiled or maybe like a princess. Like I don't need to do nothing. They do everything for me.
And she never charged me for rent. You know, it came out of me like, oh no, like I'm grown. I need to start paying bills around here. You know. But like I said, maybe she did somehow, some way had an effect on me that way. But she never demanded any money or for me to work or anything like that. No. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's one thing at the moment that you would like to improve about yourself?
I want to say confidence, because just like I said, coming into this industry, it's like I did this like on the down low, like I said, because for the same reason, like I was scared. I was like, what if I don't pass? What if, you know? So I didn't tell anyone. But it's like I knew I was capable of doing it, but I just didn't have that confidence, that real confidence to be like, no, girl, you got this. And I'm so good at preaching. So people are gonna be like, you're always so good at preaching. Like, you got this, you got this. And it's like, no, you really do. Like, I believe in other people like you do, but I wish I believe in myself the way I believe in other people, you know?
Well, it's easy to gamble with other people's money.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But yeah.
What have you learned, or what are you doing about the confidence thing? Like, anything you're applying in your life?
I don't think anything in particular, but just believing it, you know, believing in like, you know what? Yes. You know what? I am a badass. You know what? I am a chingona. Like, I do got this. I do got this.
I guess we can never figure out like the diagnosis. Like, for example, I would think that because I had the same issue. I'm working on it as well, but you don't seem like your upbringing is what caused it. It doesn't seem like your mother or people close to you contributed to it. Like,
they really didn't. That's
so
why.
So how does one develop that without any of that influence?
I don't know. Just being so hard on myself. For what reason? I don't know.
Maybe friends at the time when you...
No, everyone's always been so supportive, so encouraging. So I don't know, honestly.
What the fuck, right? Like, you think you figured it out, and okay.
Yeah. It's weird.
Any books that you read maybe to...
I should.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I should.
Or you just address what you're... Well, I don't mean in a negative way, but like you address the issue, and then does that make you pinpoint it? Like, let's just say... I stutter a lot. So now you're aware of it. Mm-hmm. So now you're like, I'm going to try not to. Like, it's literally like that simple. Like, whatever bugs you about yourself, you just focus on that to do better, or?
I think so. And I mean, I think that's the way to accomplish something or a difference somehow, some way.
I think books help because sometimes another person's perspective is what we need. Because the way that their perspective can impact how we feel about ourselves in a negative way, there's a lot of people out there that are blessed with the ability to encourage others for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like everyone along the way picks up something from, even like a podcast. I'm not the first guy to do a podcast. Like, even anything. Everything is just like innovation.
Yes.
Everyone along the way adds something to it, and in the end, it's all ours.
You're right. It's
You
like
know?
your little piece of grain of sand or something.
Yeah, because I noticed that like certain stuff that I read, when I need it, like the brain provides it. I don't know if that makes sense. It like dispenses that little phrase or that little
Yeah, like
motivation.
you needed to hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I keep saying that, like, I need to pick up a book. I need to, and
I'll recommend one that
what is it called?
I just listened to yesterday. It's by the author is Wayne Dyer, WayneDyer, and it's called Your Erroneous Zones, like error, ERRON, error,
Error. Oh, snap.
erroneous zones.
Error.
I'm not gonna spell it because I might misspell it.
You let me know after. What zone? Or what is it?
In the zone. You're in the zone. You're in.
I got lost in the zone.
You're erroneous.
You write like a doctor. I can't even understand that.
Yeah, la poderosa. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're at your. Fuck. Your. Yeah.
Got it. I won't leave without getting this.
Prescription.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely. Prescription.
No, I think everything happens
brain.
for a reason. Now you got the recipe.
Yeah.
And that one is just basically going over all the stuff that we find fault in ourselves. It's so simple, and then we can't, I don't know, some stuff is so simple, but we make it complicated.
It's like when they say, common sense isn't so common,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we make our lives complicated.
It's just coming to acceptance with the fact that you have, two bodies. Not literally, but one is the soul inside. That one, processes everything, all your thoughts, how you feel about yourself, your mood. Well, obviously, how you feel about yourself. And the other one is this. It's our...
Actual
we carry it everywhere we go. We can't leave work and then become a whole new person. We got to live with this.
Yes.
And then to be... you got to come to terms, fuck, literally, you gotta live with this all your life. So what do you want to choose? Find faults in it, or just accept it and be this is what we didn't choose. This is my vessel, and this is what I'm rolling in. I'll make the most of it.
Make the most of it. That's, yeah.
Imagine the rest of your life just looking for defects.
That must suck. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I haven't read much to keep preaching, so that's the one that I took away. Might as well accept it. You're living in this forever.
Yeah.
While you're here, at least.
I agree.
And time is running out.
That one right there.
The minute we're born, we start to die.
Exactly.
We think we have, I don't know. We take it for granted sometimes.
I agree.
But yeah, let's not get all sad.
You got any tissues?
That toilet paper.
That'll work.
Let's see. Something. What's the burning desire you have? Something you need to say. You want to take advantage that you're gonna speak to a lot of people.
That sí se puede. Sí se puede. Definitely. That's always been my preaching talk. Sí se puede.
Mm-hmm.
And women, men, even men, like I told you, I've had guys reach out to me in the DM damn, that's so cool. You drive big rigs and you got your class A. Was it difficult? And they start asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
like a woman inspiring a man to go into what we thought was a man's field,
yes,
but now it's very...
Yes. And I'm oh, okay, you ask, and whatever I know, I'm willing to share. I'm that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
If I know something that's going to benefit you or that's going to help you out, I'm going to go ahead and share it. Why not?
You got any port stories?
Port stories. Do I have any port stories? Yeah. I was at what was it? At YTI. YTI. And I was waiting, and it was one of my first times there. And one of the clerks was there talking to me, and I was asking him questions like, okay, so how do I know where the flip line's at, and how do I know where to form, like stuff like that. Like stuff like that gave me anxiety. Like, how am I supposed to know where to go? Like, it's not like you can just do a U-turn anywhere, with that big old truck and container. Yeah. So he's talking to me, he's letting me know the 411, and then he gets a call and he leaves. He's like, I'll be back. And I'm like, okay. So he comes back 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later. I'm still there, obviously. And he's like, guess what happened? And I'm like, what happened? He's like, so this girl, she was in her truck and she had someone in her sleeper. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, she got caught. He's like, so the cops are there now. And but the messed up thing is, like, it's the Sancho. And I'm like, damn. He's telling me the whole 411, so I'm obviously like listening.
Yeah. Like, you're gonna have to speak into the mic for this.
Oh, one. Sorry. So
Strike
then,
3.
So then he's like, what did he say? He said, yeah, they're over there and she's crying. She's asking me to help her because, that's not her boyfriend. That's her Sancho. And I'm like telling her, like, there's nothing I can do for you. I'm sorry. And I'm like, he's like, but I felt so bad for her. And I was like, how did you guys get, how did you guys catch her? Like,
she didn't feel bad getting pounded in the sleeper while the baby daddy or boyfriend's at home.
The husband. So he said that she was waiting in her truck, and she's like, what made it suspicious was that, people when they're on their phone. No.
Oh, it was rocking.
No, it wasn't. When people are on their phone or, talking on their headset, even if they're sideways, like, you could tell. She's like, but she kept looking back. And one of the clerks saw her. So they pulled up and they're like, who's back there? And, they pretty much made her open it, and voila, surprise. And I was just like, damn, it's a big old cheese man. No, she was talking to him. I'm not going to put more extra salsa on the tacos, but I was like, whoa, that's a crazy story. And then I had another story at PCT. One of the persons on the speaker, he didn't want to let me out unless I gave him my phone number. Interesting, huh? He's like, if you don't give me your phone number, I'm just not going to let you out. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going to be here all night. I was like, it's Friday. I was like, I really don't have anything to do, so I could stay here. And a few minutes later, he's like, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you. But it was like awkward.
No, he tried it maybe if it worked,
Yeah. But I was just like, awkward, like, really? Like, it sucks that they could see you, but you can't see
Yeah,
me.
that's what I was going to ask you. How did you know if you would have been down?
I was like, I can't see you. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that was weird.
Kind of creepy. Like,
yeah, it's kind of creepy. I'm like, wait, can you? Because, like,
is that sexual harassment?
I think so, right? Because I'm like, wait, can
False
you
imprisonment.
see me?
False imprisonment.
He's like, yeah, you're wearing a pink vest. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's me. So, yeah. But
you could follow me on TikTok.
I don't have a TikTok.
Oh, okay. Any more? I think you got more. You're like...
Oh, gosh. No.
Did the Sancho maker... No, the Sancho maker get arrested or any of that?
Well, I didn't finish hearing the story because he left them there. And, I think the company was going to come for the truck. I think that's what he said.
Well, they got lucky then. They didn't tow it. They could have towed it.
Oh, really?
And arrested them.
Damn. Right, because then I don't know.
But if they came to tow, if they had to come for the truck, obviously she wasn't making it out of there then. Because she would have just drove away in the truck.
Right. Yeah, so I think, it went to something.
Yeah.
More extreme.
That's all bad.
I'm just glad it wasn't me,
Yeah. I heard they trip even if you take a dog. You're not supposed to take an animal in there.
I know. I heard only if it's like a service dog or something like that.
Yeah. Like if you're blind.
We all need service
like if you're
dogs.
blind, huh?
Really?
Nah, I was just checking. I'm just
here.
checking.
I'm still here.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, owning my own truck and making more money. No, I'm not sure if driving. It's funny because when I left my pawn shop job, my boss was like, "Really, trucking? Like, I would think you would use your managing skills, and work for another company where you can use those skills." And I'm like, "Well, how do you know I'm gonna be a driver? Maybe I'm just gonna learn the skills and then buy a truck and have a driver for me,
manage the fleet."
Yeah, and I was just like, but I chose not to argue. So yeah.
Imagine, I think you're right. You would have stayed there.
That what?
If you would have been like, I guess you're right.
Right. Never mind.
Yeah. People don't see the impact they have on others when they just say shit like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you got a side hustle at the moment, or a hobby?
A side hustle? Yes, I do. I haven't really been working on my side hustle because of the trucking journey, but I sell waist beads. Ghanaian waist beads. What are waist beads? Did I take the words right out of your mouth?
Whoa, waist beads? What is that? Tell me more.
Literally that, waist beads. Beads for your waist. Yes, so waist beads come from Ghana. Well, Africa. But women in Ghana wear them for a vast majority of reasons. And I found it, I like the concept behind it. So I'm like, wow, like every woman should be wearing a waist beads. If not one strand, 20, 30, as many as you want.
Are they stretchy?
They're not stretchy. So one of the reasons why you wear them is for weight control.
How do they? So when they put them on, they're gonna tie a knot and they live with them. Like,
yes, you live
sleep with them, shower with them.
Everything with them.
Sounds kind of.
Everything with it.
Sweat with them.
Everything, but you shower every day. You wash them. They're a part of you.
Yeah.
So I use them for accessory, and I use them for weight control, weight management, because they don't stretch. So when you're gaining inches on your waist, they become tight.
Imagine you people, whatever, like, that's how you would know, right? Like, that's fucked up. Cause I could see it, like, it could be fucked up. Imagine what it would do to a woman's self-esteem if she bends over and they just bust.
You know what? It's happened. But it's happened mostly when they're exercising, because if you need to be mindful, especially if you're new to it, you need to be mindful of them. And obviously, if you're going to be doing sit-ups and stuff like that, you need to roll them up or whatnot.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, because, that pressure, that could make them burst. But they're pretty sturdy.
So when you buy them, they're loose, right?
It's a large strand.
Oh, a large, okay. And then fit to...
Yeah, to the size.
Tie the knot, that's it.
Tie a knot, a few knots, and then cut the excess, and then they're on for life. Unless you cut them off or they break off.
Excuse me. That jamba got me. So, was that ever like a trend? I think there was like a Zumba trend a few years back. Like, everywhere in downtown Long Beach, it was like a Zumba studio.
Really? I'm not sure a trend.
Is there anything you kind of tie that to?
I've been wearing waist beads since 2005. So, like I said, it's a lifestyle. I say it's a lifestyle because you just become addicted to wearing them. Like, you start with one or two, and then it's like, no, I want more. I think I have like 11 at the moment. But I have a cousin that has like 18, 19. Like, they're just all so beautiful. Like, if I could wear them all, I would. Not just because I sell them, but like I said, I feel like every woman should wear waist beads.
Yeah.
Which
it sounds... Go ahead. Sorry.
Which I was thinking, maybe I should do a thing where women truck drivers, they stop me and be like, hey, I saw you at KONTAINEROZ podcast and you said something about waist beads. Maybe the first 25 girls that, I'll carry my stash of waist beads and then I'll put them on them and we'll go from there. I'll gift them one.
Tell them. Look at him. Look at him.
Look at them. I'm shy. I'm shy.
The first 20 to come. Hey, the first 20. Not the first 10, not the first 15. The first 20 ladies that see Rosie at the porch, you get your free beads.
Your free waist beads. One strand.
One strand. Hey, one strand. Hey, no se pasen.
No se pasen tampoco, but can I get one for my friend?
$10.99 value? Or what's the value on one?
$12.
Huh? A $12 value.
Yes. For free.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Are those good conversation starters? Out in public?
Out in public. Yeah, I mean, if people see them, for the most part, they're supposed to be like underneath your clothes, but you can wear them for accessory, which is what I do. Definitely. I had a guy once tell me, I saw your thong, and I was just like, my thong? Like, what are you talking about? You know? I got all embarrassed. I'm like, and I was like, wait a minute. And I was just like, oh, those are my waist beads. They were nice. I'm like, oh, yeah, not supposed to be looking at them. But
and he just stayed there. What's next?
Yeah, what's next? Like your thong. Oh, God. Men.
Pabat.
Exactly.
So, if you could change one thing at the ports with the experiences you've had, with the knowledge you have so far, what would, in your opinion, what would you change at the port? One thing.
Man, and I think I've seen a few people answer this, and it's gonna be the same thing over and over again, which is gonna be the whole shift change, like making the waiting time longer than it should be.
Wow.
Yes, I've definitely experienced that, and it sucks. Like, how can they not get that right? Why can't they overlap them, you know? But I said, I'm a rookie. I don't know what's going on. But
even as a rookie, you notice that, and it makes sense to you.
Yes.
So why can't it make sense to the experts in the industry?
Exactly.
Unless it's something that there is no intention to fix. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
And overwhelming.
But you still keep going back.
I know.
Any mistakes you made when you started? That first day?
A lot.
Like, you remember a few?
Huh.
Because some other people I'm sure there's a lot of new people that are going to be going in. I mean, it shits drivers out like crazy sometimes. So
mistakes.
How about this? Something you wish someone told you going in there that would have helped you.
Like going into the ports, or just in
going
trucking?
into the ports.
If you're taking a load in, WBCT has specific lanes for loads in because they have scales. I went into one of the lanes that didn't have a scale, and I was freaking out. I was like, why didn't anybody tell me? Like, now what did I do?
Yeah.
Like, do I have to turn around? Where do I turn around? Like, can I come back in? Like, I was just freaking out. It's like, oh, it's the ones on the left-hand side, the first 5 or something like that. So I had to go exit and then come back in. And it's crazy because, like, when it's full, you thinking you're on the left side, but it's like all of a sudden they start branching out, and it's like, oh, snap. All of a sudden you're in the 9th lane, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was just on the left side.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that.
Is that strange that you would assume, and I think it's a very good assumption, that the terminals make millions of dollars and there is no a sign? How much can a sign cost to say scale, no scale, empties only?
Exactly. And that's the problem too at like YTI.
It's like a slumlord. Like, you know what I mean? No arregla nada. Just collect the rent.
Yeah, like there was a few times I was going into YTI, and our company deals with reefers, so I was going into like fourth lane, third lane, no problem. Just one day, all of a sudden, they're like, oh, it's a reefer, you need to be in 7th through 12th lane only. And I'm like, oh, but I was just here yesterday and I was on this lane.
What terminal?
YTI.
Oh, you must have missed the billboard, the top.
The one that doesn't work?
It doesn't work anymore?
It has like certain letters.
Oh, the LEDs or the diodes? Yeah. Oh.
You're just supposed to kind of assume what it says.
Yeah.
I don't know. For a rookie, it's hard.
And what happened there? I mean,
had to exit.
but there was a scale. Like they could have, right? Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think they could have, but they're just like, no, you're gonna have to turn back around. And I'm like, okay, what do I do now?
I would understand maybe with like an empty return when there's a majority of them in bulk right there, and they would think that you took that lane on purpose to be slick because it was a shorter line. But reefer is not really that common, honestly. So they just
Yeah, sometimes I
Girl
don't know.
Scout was up there, and I think at YTI they could see you from the building. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I don't know, but they made me turn around, so that's what I did.
Imagine such a bad day that when you go turn around, you still have to go through roadability, huh?
Yes.
Imagine put you out of service, make you flip.
Oh.
But I'm just turning around.
That would suck. That would definitely.
I could see it happening.
Yeah.
What other mistakes?
Ports.
Maneuvering.
Oh.
Okay. A ver.
At PCT, dang, I had something at every port. At PCT, they canceled my booking, or they couldn't fulfill my booking, something like that. So I had to turn back around. I was gonna go for an empty reefer, so I was exiting with my own chassis, and it was my first time at PCT, and I'm just like, okay, where do I go? And they're like, oh, you don't have to go through the speakers and the, what do you call these things? Las manos.
Yeah, the pedestals, I forget what it's called. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, they're like, you have to go around, and I'm like, okay, so where? And someone pointed, but I exited through where the bobtails exit.
Oh, you went too far out.
Yeah. So then what happened there is that obviously I have my own chassis. So when I was taking that curve, my chassis hit one of the bumper things on the floor, and it kind of like slashed the tire. And I was just like, I automatically knew I had went into the wrong place, So then here I am. I was like, what else do I have to do? Just keep going. And the guy that told me, I stopped, and I'm like, I went in the wrong way, didn't I? And he's like, yes. He's like, the other way. He's like, but it's fine. He's like, just take it all the way. I've done it, making me feel right. But I was just like all embarrassed. And then he's like, how are they treating you in your company? And I'm like, oh, they're treating me good. And he's like, oh, because if not, like, I'll hire you, come to my company, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you want to hire me after you saw me just do all that? And he's like, you said you're a new driver? He's like, it's fine. It happens. He's like, I understand that you're going to do mistakes. He's like, but some companies don't have the patience, or they'll get fed up and they'll be like, they'll let you go. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, well, let me take down your number. I swear I have I don't know how many numbers, because people want to hire me. And I'm like, thank you. I'm blessed.
They want to hold you hostage too, unless you give the number.
Apparently. Jesus. But yeah, so that was my story at PCT. Messed up the tire chassis. Oh, and then when I was exiting, one of the clerks stopped me, like, excuse me, you're supposed to come in through. I was like, I know, I came in the wrong way. He already saw my face, like, oh, this girl about to cry. But I was just like, I know, I went in the wrong way. He's like, oh, it's fine. He's like, we used to, he started explaining. He's like, we used to let chassis go through there. He's like, but because
we were borrowing them.
Something happened, and something with the drains. He's like, we stopped letting them, only bobtails. And I'm like, okay, now I know it won't happen again, He's like, all right, you're good. I'm like, okay. I left. But yeah.
How did that go? Did you have to report that chassis? Or is this one of those moments where you're going to end up confessing?
Jesus, I wish you'd never asked that. See, what had happened was...
Okay, next question.
I took it straight to the tire shop to get fixed.
Nomás iba para la yarda.
Uh-huh. Sí, merito.
Any more mistakes, or that's about it? What about, how was it? Were you navigating through there? Would you get lost?
Speaking
memorizing the locations, how did that go?
Oh my God. So brings me to my good friend, and I need to shout him out because he was literally my ojos, my eyes, Greg. Saludos. He honestly, I was like, how am I supposed to learn these ports? Like, there's so many. Like, what do you mean? How do I get from one port to the next? Like, no, I wanted them to dispatch me to a port to the yard. And that was it. Like, I didn't want them to tell me, oh, go drop an empty here and then go pick up a load there and blah, blah. I was like, no, like, you guys can't do that. But when they did start doing that, good thing my friend Greg was just a phone call away. Like, hey, he'll be like, what's up? ¿Para dónde vamos? You know? And I'm like, so I have to go here. He's like, okay. He's like, so you're going to hop on the 103 and you're going to da-da-da and you're going to exit here. Oh, and get on your left lane because there's 2 lanes there. Yeah. So the left lane is the one that turns to the left. And I was like, damn, like, you're literally seeing what I'm seeing right now. He's like, I've been driving these streets for years. He's like, I know I'm like the back of my palm or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, just so thankful. Like, every chance I get, I'm like, thank you so much. He's like, you're fine. He's like, you know what? He's like, I know that once you learn the ports, he's like, you're not even going to call me anymore. And I'm like, no, yes, I am. So I call him once in a while to check up on him or whatever. But, and vice versa. But no, he definitely helped me out a lot. For a rookie, like, all the help, you know, that you can get.
After how much time would you say you got comfortable enough where you were on your own? Like,
so I got hired October 6th of last year, and I was doing like the yard work. I was doing pretty much what a yard goat was doing, but with the truck.
Oh, okay, in the yard.
In the yard, I was like flipping containers from 2-axle chassis to 3-axle chassis because we deal with like overweight reefers. And mind you, it was like super hot, so I was doing all this like labor, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what did I get myself into every day? And I was just like, no, you got this. And that first week, like I said, I ripped some hoses.
How?
I forgot to disconnect.
The traditional way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forgot to disconnect. And I think that was like the cherry on the top that I was like, I'm going to quit. Like, that's it.
Did you hear that bang? Like, stretched and bah!
And I was just like, what was that? And I looked, I got off, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm dead meat. I'm like, they're going to fire me. Like, that's it. So then when I went to tell them, the guy that hired me, he comes out with the hoses. Ready to change them, right? Like, but it was funny because I was literally in my truck and I was crying. I was literally crying. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me, being all dramatic. And he comes out with the hoses like around his shoulder. And he literally is like whistling, and I'm like looking at him. He doesn't look at me, so I'm like, he's pissed. Like, I'm sure he's pissed, you know. Assuming. So he goes, he changes the hoses. He doesn't talk to me. He comes back. He's like, okay, you're all done. Meanwhile, I'm in my truck, right? He's like, all right, you're all set. And I was just like, that's it? And he's like, yeah. He's like, are you crying? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, no. There's no crying here. Why are you crying? And I'm like, because I just ripped some hoses. And he's like, look, this happens more often than you think. He's like, if it was a big issue, I wouldn't have them in stock. He's like, we have hundreds of them in stock because it happens quite often. And then I was just like, I was like breathing hard. And then he's like, I was like, can I take a breather? Like, can I go like on my lunch and get a drink? And I was like, but like a regular drink, not like alcoholic. He's like looking at me like, you weirdo. And I'm like, okay. So I go on my break and I still call my friend, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to quit. Like, this just happened. Like, okay, but did they fix it? And I said, yes. Okay, so then go back. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go back. And then I remembered the only thing that saved me probably was that I had the walkie-talkie, the little radio. Oh. So I was like, how am I not going to return this, you know? So that's why I went back, and here I am. And he still reminds me, he's like, remember who brought you back from life? You were ready to quit that day. I'm like, I was ready to quit that day. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not difficult, but it's not easy, you know? But don't quit. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede.
You were really going to quit?
For that. And I see it.
And even though he didn't make it uncomfortable, I would think that if he made you feel bad or...
No, but because of that, because you have that perception of truckers know everything and nothing happens to them and they already know what... It's not until you talk to people and they're like, oh, that happened to me too. And it's that... Why you never said anything,
Yeah, my first trip, I fucked up.
Yeah? What did you do? Tell me.
Well, suppose I always have a hard time describing it, but there's a street by Harbor City where, so the freeway runs like this, and the on ramp is one of those that to get on, it's like a U-turn sort of.
Okay.
Oh man, mind you, I had already like pulled that empty out and prepared for that. It was gonna be a long trip from here to Fresno, I believe, to pick up scrap metal. That Jamba Juice, woo!
Sorry.
So I guess I forgot that I was hauling something for some reason, and the axle on the chassis, the one in the front part, not the back.
Okay.
I'm a horrible storyteller.
Okay.
Just imagine you're doing a U-turn and the axle of the chassis hits the K-rail. So I fucked it up.
Okay.
So now I'm going on the freeway and that ass is sideways like this.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I literally I'm like, oh.
And you didn't know?
I'm like, I'm hauling a container.
Oh, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, forgetting
That
I'm
you're
going
not
sideways. Back then there was no appointments till you turn empty. You were just done. You just took it, from what I remember. Because that day, that's exactly what I did. So I'm over here planning the day. I'm gonna do a long trip. I'm gonna make this money. I'm a trucker now. I remember it still felt weird to look at the container. If it still felt long, like I still felt my perception wasn't on point.
Okay.
Like when you're switching lanes, you could fucking take off the hood of a car, if you don't got it right.
Exactly.
But I was, muchingon. I'm going sideways. Literally get on the freeway. The first exit I see, I go out. Go back south. Go into Mersk. All sideways. Go park that bitch on wheels and bobtail out. I remember to park it was all scratching the next container on the way back.
Oh my God.
Dropped it and I'm out. And I went home. And I just called it a day.
Wow. No one ever told you anything, you see? Glad for social media. You would have been viral real quick.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with this container?
Lean like a cholo.
Yeah, and you gotta watch out because like someone did it with a chassis from Kong Global, and I think they charged like over $2,600 for a repair.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's that yard. They would, when you would take equipment back, they had a guy that would literally pick up the chassis on a forklift. He'll walk under it and check everything, make sure like everything's on point. So he had to return it there, and that's when they caught him. Like there was no way around it. But me, I was able to get away with it
because you parked it at Merce.
Yeah, with time, it's getting more strict, certain things, right? So
they're catching on to all these.
Yeah, so we all fuck up. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I called it Chronicles of a Rookie Truck Driver because I felt like everything was happening to me. But thankfully, knock, knock, that it's happened to me once and I've learned from it. So at the same time, I'm like, I'm glad it's happening to me now. At least I'm learning as I'm going and hopefully it doesn't happen to me again. But
well, I bet that hasn't happened again. The hoses.
It hasn't. That's why I said knock, knock, knock on wood.
Anything else that's happened? Or is that in? Are you okay? That too many?
No, I honestly have no shame, telling people what happened to me because for the same thing, like you need to know, like this is real life, and if it happens to you, it's okay, because I also I broke something on a truck.
Yeah, what was that?
I forgot what the part was. Motor or something.
Something like mechanical, like with the shifting or... So,
yes. It was, I think, the first week as well. No one ever told me that you have to start on low gear with the overweight.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, my thing, of course, being new and being scared of shifting, I always like to start like on a third gear. So, I'm like, oh, that's kind of neutral,
Yeah.
But... I think that day I was starting on third or fourth, maybe even fourth. And it was an overweight container.
So the drive shaft, la flecha, it just snapped maybe, and
it wasn't the drive shaft for sure, but it was something called motor something. Oh, I don't know. But so I moved forward, right? But then I felt the truck weird, so I was trying to go on reverse, and it just wouldn't go on reverse, and I'm like, what's going on? So they're like, oh, just leave it there. So they left it there, and then the truck shop came over and they figured what had happened, and then I'm like, oh, I did that, you know. And I was just like so embarrassed because they're like, oh, it was the new girl, you know. For a few weeks, it's like, what did you break now, new girl? And I was just like, forget y'all, you know. But it is what it is. Like, no one ever told me. It's like stuff like that, you know.
But you took the lesson from that. So the lesson from that is, if you're loaded, you're gonna start on a
low gear, the lowest gear, especially if it's overweight. How was I supposed to know it's overweight? You know, I was just first week there. Like, take this one to get flipped.
What's your favorite thing though, despite like some stuff you've been through? What's your favorite thing about your job at the moment?
The driving, because
I need cruise.
And like knowing nothing about stick shift, honestly, like nothing, zero, stingy with dinero. So I enjoy shifting.
What?
He's a hater. But yeah, like driving, shifting, you know. And it's crazy because everyone's so proud of you being a woman truck driver until, oh, I thought it was automatic. And I'm like, how dare you signify that I should tolerate. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, everyone, you know, is so proud of you, but they assume it's automatic.
So before this, you didn't know how to drive stick? You learned in a truck the first? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's exactly why I didn't pass my Class A on the first try. You know, I had all my pre-trip, my maneuvers, my air brakes, everything good to go, but I wasn't comfortable and I didn't have a lot of drive time. So that's why I didn't pass my road test. So then what did I do? I scheduled 4 more classes with my school, and I'm like, I need 4 more hours, you know. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. I was like, I just need a little bit more practice to get the hang of it. And I'm like, 2 days, 2 hours. They're like, no, your leg's gonna hurt because, you know, I have to double clutch. So I was like, don't you worry about my leg. I need to know this because I need to pass on the second try. And they scheduled me for 2 days, back to back, 2 hours each day. And when I went to my appointment, I was downshifting and everything. I was like, go girl, go girl. But yeah.
All the tests are like that still, huh? You can't float the gears?
No. Double clutch and downshift. So no puro braking? Nope.
What's the part about, you got any other things you like about your job before I move on to the next thing?
The parking now. Like, I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not the best, obviously, but, and it's, you know what's crazy? That I'm good at parking on my blind side, but I have more trouble on my whatever side it's.
I was good on my blind side with 20-footers for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. But I hop out of the seat a lot, like, you know, like.
No, me, like regular container, 40-foot, whatever. But naturally, I want to park on my. Oh, and then for my test for my maneuvers, I had.
Hold up, let me park blind side.
They gave me a parallel blind side, and I did it on the first try. But yet, I had trouble taking my truck straight back. You know, it's like the nerves, I guess.
Oversteering, you overthink it.
Overthinking. Then I had offset to the left. And I had a little bit of difficulty there because I think I was trying to remember like all the pointers that, you know, they teach you at school. But then I remember telling the instructor, like, at the end of the day, all that matters is that it goes in, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, I got this. So.
Me, for parking, the school I went to, I don't know if they would like me saying this, so I'm not going to mention it. They marked a line on the fifth wheel and a line on the catwalk, I believe. So they're like, turn it all the way, back up. When those two lines meet, stop and turn the other way, and you're good.
So they had like the pointers too.
Yeah. And it's like something like an inside.
Yeah, but like when you're there, your nerves and everything, you forget all that. You're like, damn, what do I have to do? And then you start freaking out even more. That's what happened to me.
You know, people say that the hardest part for them was the whole pre-trip. Like, why is this so hard? You think you say more than you should, or is there like a secret to it? Like, keep it simple.
You don't study.
What?
That's what it is. No, I'm saying that like that's why it's hard, because they don't study.
Oh, okay. I thought you said don't study, because there's so much information that you'll be like, whoa, you know.
No. Study. But so that's why I say, like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's easy, blah blah blah. No, it's not easy to get your class A. Otherwise, everybody would have a class A just for fun, right? So I got my license on a Friday, and on that following Monday, my school calls me and asks me for a favor. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? You know, like I had already gotten my license. Like, what's up? They're like, we don't have someone to take one of the trucks on Wednesday. Can you do us a favor and take the truck? And I'm like, me? Like, I just got my license on Friday. They're like, no, we trust you. We know that you're a good driver. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And I'm like, no, we need someone because we have a student that has this test on Wednesday. And I'm like, what should I do? Like, should I go? Should I not? I'm like, I'll call you back, you know? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Experience, why not? So I called off on my job, and I didn't call off. I told them ahead of time that, you know, I couldn't come Wednesday. Okay, why not? So I took the truck to the DMV Gardena, and I was there the whole day. There was probably about 12 trucks there, and kid you not, maybe about 3 people passed.
Whoa.
Yeah. So what the guy that was there, that was going to take the test that I took the truck for, I was talking to him, like, how do you feel? Like, did you study? He's like, well, you know what? I didn't really study my pre-trip. And automatically I'm like, you messed up. I was like, look, the pre-check is the first part. So if you don't pass your pre-trip, you're not going to go to the other parts that you think you know. It doesn't matter if you know maneuvers, if you know how to drive. You don't pass that pre-trip, you're not going to the next level. And he's like, well, I studied part A. And I'm like, well, you don't know what you're going to get, you know? He's like, okay. Well, I didn't want to make him any more nervous.
Yeah, it sounds like you were.
No, but I was in my...
like, oh, shit.
But in my head, I'm like, yo, like, you can't do that. What? His luck, he got part A for his pre-trip.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Oh.
He didn't pass.
The rest?
No, he didn't pass part A.
Oh. Studied.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, you have to study. And a lot of the parts at the beginning, like, I was frustrated. I remember even telling, like, my friend, I was talking about Greg, I'm like, do they want me to build a truck, or why do I need to know all these little parts, you know? But after you study and you start realizing, oh, a lot of this is repetitive, you know? Like, obviously you have all these tires. You're going to say the same thing about each tire over and over again. So memorize the parts, the drum, the pads, you know?
¿Quedaste tramada with anything? Is there anything you remember still? Like, how literal is it? Well, this is the...
Not cracked, not broken. What is it? No abrasions, no bubbles, no cuts.
Oh
my
shit.
Goodness gracious. No
what are you
leaks.
Describing there? Are you talking about a hose right there?
Hose, yes, definitely. Okay. No leaks, no air leaks. Oh, God.
And then the tires, do you thump them?
Yep.
Or, yeah?
Yeah. I kick them sometimes, too, if I don't have my hammer with me. But...
Sounds violent.
Very. But, yeah. That's how I got my class A. You have to study. And I tell, like...
Yeah, there's no way around it then.
There's definitely no way around it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could be a badass you want that, oh, you know how to drive stick shift, or that you know your maneuvers. But if you're not going to study the pre-trip, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get to the other part. So that's what I'm saying. It's very important. And when I decided to go for my class A, I did a lot of YouTubing. you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you get a Class A? Or how do you do a pre-trip in California? Because every state is different. It's kind of same, but different. So I did that a lot. And the videos that I found useful, I was on repeat, watching them over and over. And every time I would watch them, I would learn something new, honestly.
That'd be dope, like a pre-trip playlist.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta make sure you pick the right one, imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it made sense, you know, and it's like a lot of memorization. So it's like when I went to school, because I got an hour for each session, I already knew, like, oh, snap. And when I was studying, I was like, wait, what's the shocks? Like, what? Like, I don't understand it in the picture, you know?
The shock is like if you get scared and you panic, like...
The shock absorber.
Yeah, so you don't get that scared.
Don't mind him.
Nah. Just study that shit.
Yeah, study.
There's an app for people that want to get their permit. Mm-hmm. My cousin was using it, and
CDL
he got his...
prep.
There you go, CDL prep. Yeah. I think it seems like it's a lot of questions. I think all 250 varieties are there.
Yeah.
Well, all 250 are there, and from there stem the varieties. So
50.
you don't know what you'll get, right?
Yeah. So you got to study all of them.
Yeah. And it'll tell you right there if you passed. Yes. You keep doing it.
Yeah.
Pass.
Exam mode or practice mode. I was doing all that. And when I was hitting like the 90-something percentile, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's take this test. And I went. And I was watching YouTube, and it said, if you're going to get your Class A, don't sell yourself short. So what did I do? I went and I got my TWIC card. I got my hazmat. I got my doubles and triples. I was like...
Do you find you still have a need for the hazmat? Because I heard that's like, if you're not really doing hazmat, no vale la pena. It's not worth it because the points are higher.
Yeah. Definitely.
1.5, I think, for moving violations.
Definitely. But like I said, so YouTube said don't sell yourself short. Yeah. So that's what I didn't.
You removed it or you still have it?
No, I still have it. I mean, I'm just 6 months in, so I'm just like... But yeah.
Never know, you might do tankers like Amanda.
Oh, I know. And you know what? I had bumped into one of my customers at the pawn shop.
Yeah.
I had never noticed his license. It said commercial license. And I was like, wait, are you a truck driver? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I drive tankers. And I'm like, how is that? Oh, it's cool. It's very easy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. So then once I was like halfway through my class, like he came in again. I was like, can I tell you something? And he's like, what's up? I was like, I'm getting I'm studying to get my Class A. And he's like, what? No way. And I was just like, calm down, you know, don't tell anybody. But he was very excited. He was like, oh no, get it. And if you ever need anything, he's like, I'll get you in my company and we'll go from there. And I'm like, all right. So I've been very lucky and blessed that, you know, some job offers. So
you have his contact, so if you think about it, you'll hit him up.
I'm sure.
Try it.
Yeah.
But right now you don't feel the need to. Yeah, you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Cool. What's something you dislike about your job? Not where you're at. I mean, unless you don't like something about it. But overall, you know, what would you go through?
That it sucks being a woman truck driver and waiting these long lines, like the restroom. Man, don't you ask me if I've had an accident. I saw that.
You've been watching. Yeah. Have you ever shit your pants?
Thankfully, no. But I almost tinkled in my pants.
Tinkled?
Yeah.
You almost drizzled?
Call it what you want to call it. Peed on my pants. Yeah. And it's horrible, like I would have to like mind over matter. You don't have to pee, girl. No, you don't, like, you know, self-talk. Like, no, you got this. But when I get to the yard, I'm like, because thankfully, I haven't yet used a porta potty. So I don't want to.
You just jinx yourself. So this week you're going to end up.
I've heard stories. No, I think I would rather do it there in the truck on my pants or something than go there.
I mean, it's an attempt. There's a porta potty, but the ratio, it's like the amount of truckers to, you know what I mean? Let's say 100 truckers, one porta potty versus 100 truckers, 10 porta potties. Then
no, you know what I mean? Still dirty.
No, what I'm saying, it would help, right, to bump it up, bump up the numbers, especially because you go in there's already like a little mountain of like. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I haven't seen that, and I
hope not yet, huh? Okay.
want.
Or if you're feeling mad, you want to gangbang, you go in there. Anyone you got beef with, make sure you take that Sharpie in there. You know.
Oh, really?
Fuck Containeros, bunch of lames.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Damn. No, I hope not.
All the politic debates go on in there.
Oh, I know. I bet.
Yeah.
You see it everywhere, actually. Like, even like at the automated ports, like Pier E and stuff. Those little booths. Quite honestly.
Give me that.
Quite honestly, you know what I want to do? I want to take my little cleaning spray and do my part. Because those things are dirty.
Yeah.
Like, how do they get so dirty? Why?
What gets dirty?
The little booths that you're waiting.
Oh, nah, don't do that.
It just reminds me of the whole oh God, what is that?
You reminded me right now when you said the shout out to pareja.com. I don't know who the fuck started that, but one time I finally looked it up. I was like, man, you a nasty motherfuckers, you know.
And you give me this?
Because it reminded me, like, yeah,
Of
that's
what?
awkward, but no, I don't know why I did that. You're right. But it's like the shit you see out there, you know?
Yeah.
So, pareja.com.
You know I'm going to still Google
I'll take it away. Never mind.
Yeah, it's already in here.
That's
Too
already
late. Too bad. So sad.
So
Hey, but where's the other paper?
So inappropriate.
Oh, it's in the back of it. I'm still going to keep it.
Oh, well. Pareja. This is not sponsored by... I will not mention them anymore. So, you my pen, fool. What's okay? Any other dislikes other than the restroom, the tinkle dangers?
Tinkle dangers. No, just like everything else. The waiting time. You know, that's it.
Same old.
Same old. Yeah.
Well, how do you feel? What about the food availability? Like how you can't park, or are you the type to bring your own lunch? Or
I try to bring my own lunch, but you know what? It's crazy because I can go pretty much the whole day without eating.
Yeah.
I say I'm like tengo reserva for like a month and stuff, but no, yeah, I try.
I'm not allowed to like smile or laugh at that joke because then I could get canceled. Like,
oh, sorry.
It'd be like, if I laugh, it's body shaming, and if I
sorry.
Just kidding. Ah, girl. Okay.
No.
So,
yeah, I try to bring my own lunch, but it sucks that you don't have a microwave accessible, at all times or whatnot. Someone didn't like it. Stop, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the roach coach, or what do they call them?
Yeah.
I don't talk too bad about them because my dad used to do catering trucks for a lot of years, and I used to love them. The fried burritos.
Yeah.
The burgers.
I think they go through a lot as well, huh? Like it's a busy. It takes a lot of your time.
Yes.
Prepping.
Yes.
Like when you leave the location, it doesn't end there, huh? Why do they all have to park at a certain yard? Do you know?
I don't know. I think I don't know. Oh, because they have to like refill like the ice and all that stuff, cleaning them and all that stuff. It's accessible. I don't know. Honestly.
Yeah, I've seen a yard like nothing but lunch trucks. I'm like, that must be a thing, or must be a city ordinance, or like
maybe keep them all bunched up together.
Yeah. You got anything to say about loncheras then, from what you know from your dad's experience?
I love them. I used to, because he used to do routes. So when I used to be on vacation from school, I used to know exactly where he was at what time. So I would walk over there because he was local.
Yeah.
And I would go check up on him, and I'm like, I need some tacos and I need some goodies. Oh, and he'll like fix up a box for me, like with sodas and chips and all this stuff. And I'm like, because I need to share with my cousins, He's like, this girl. And then I was like, oh no, so I need some money. He's like, $5, okay. I'm like, how about 20? So I would pocket check him. But no, the food was good.
How's their hustle though? Because at one point I had to unload some containers because I had been a bad boy. So I lost my license and I was unloading containers. So I noticed like there's certain did you find something? Yeah. There's certain the loncheras, they know the schedules of the warehouses.
Yeah.
Like, Do they ever fight for the turf? Like,
Yes.
is there like a certain code? Like,
yes. So pretty much, like that's your route because you start showing up there. But then there's always the people who want to be like, oh, I want that route or I want that stop in particular. And I remember a story about this truck. It kept going to this one stop that I don't know if it was my dad's stop or a friend, but I remember the story that they kept going and they kept telling them like, hey, that's mine, and mm-hmm. they just wouldn't, bluff. So then when they had one of the friends come in, because obviously your lunch truck, you do a stop, you open your doors, and then you wait for the customers outside and start charging them. So you leave your door open, so they send someone to remove the key and take it with them. So then he was stuck there because he obviously had different routes. He had to go to another stop after 20 minutes being there or whatnot. So I'm like, oh my God, you guys are shady. And I was like, we told him plenty of times, like, this is our stop. And I'm like, okay.
What's the name of his lonchera at the time, or his business?
It was I think they're still around, like Royal Catering or something.
Royal Catering, Rifa Home.
How did I know you were gonna say something like that?
Fuck with the wrong one.
I think they're still around. He's just kidding, everyone.
Yes. If not in trucking, what would you do?
If not in trucking, my own business, definitely. I already knew that I didn't want to do customer service or work for anyone else anymore. I was just gonna either take waist speeds, or I actually kind of wanted to open like a girl lounge kind of, where you do your eyebrows mm-hmm. and like beauty stuff, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your nails, skincare, massage.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, yeah. But
so like in the beauty industry,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Cosmetics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Cool.
Definitely.
Right now, ¿no te llama la atención to still add that to your hobbies, or that's just something if that were the case? Like,
yeah, it's still kind of in the back of my head, like why not? We always want to try to look cute somehow, some way. But that's the thing, like you always like want to do something, like especially like my family. I always brag about how we're so good at like food and stuff, mm-hmm. like if there's something we know, it's food, like we're having breakfast and we're already thinking about lunch, like what are we gonna have for lunch, mm-hmm. But and we're so picky about stuff like that, like, oh, like why do people sell food and it's not even good, if you're gonna do something, do it right or do it good. And we say that, like, one of my aunts, she's a really good cook. She tacos and everything, catering. But yeah.
I don't know, right now se me vino a la mente tacos from Taqueria Mi Lindo Mazatlan.
I've never had that. Where are they at?
He posts up on the weekends because he's a trucker. And then that's the weekend gig.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's on my to-do list.
Doing that.
That's on my to-do list. The tripa for some reason.
The tripa. They have to be like
real crispy. Yeah. Well, we're at the end of the list. Anything you would like to add?
Anything that I would like to add. If you are thinking about getting your Class A, if it's been just a thought or it's been a lingering thought, for a while now,
sometimes 10 years.
Yeah, now is your time. And you got this. You could be like me and don't tell anybody, just in case, but if you do set your mind to it and you put in the hard work and you study, like we were just talking about, like you can definitely obtain your Class A. And I feel like even if you don't do anything with it, like I tell all the young kids that I encounter, get your Class A. Like you never know. It's just
sit on it. Yeah, that's experience.
And
surprisingly.
That's exactly what right? And that's exactly what I thought too. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get my Class A. And if I don't become a truck driver, at least I have that under my belt. Like, what if? A what if? So, yeah, your time is now, and get to school. No, actually, before you go to school, do your do your research and study on your own. Get your permit on your own, and then go to school.
And your quote?
Sí se puede. Como chingados, no.
Yeah, there you go. In English, yes, you can. Why the fuck not? Right?
Gracias. Sí.
Eso sí.
Exactamente.
So where can they reach you?
They can reach me on Instagram.
What's
Gold Queen Rosie?
Gold Queen Rosie?
Because my burner account, Road Queen Rosie, is not approved. By somebody.
Oh, me?
It's not a burner account, you guys.
Oh.
But no, my personal page is Gold Queen Rosie on Instagram. Please do not send me any DMs talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
Talking about what? There you go. We'll end it with that. What's the weirdest DM you got?
Not weirdest, but like the most common. Are you single? Are you single? Can I take you out? Can I take you out?
Depends, huh?
Not
well,
so
now
much.
You guys know that's not the line you want to use, I guess.
Yes, right?
That was burned out.
Right. Be
Cool.
more creative. That's all I'm saying. We're not going to go into my personal life, but...
Do you like tacos de tripa? Oh, interesting. Yeah. All right, guys. There it is. Thank you guys for tuning in.
I survived.
Well, yeah. Congrats to you. Always, willing to try something new.
Definitely.
And you got through this, so.
Definitely. I think the Jamba Juice helped, though.
There you go. All right, guys. Catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.